What's going on, guys? Yeah, not really sure how Elias and Thorson got in here, but good to see you guys. It's been a long time since I've done a live stream. I started setting this up a little bit before 7, so I've been working on it for like 40 minutes. But yeah, man, what's going on with you guys? Long time, no speaking. Um, I haven't been uploading videos like I am supposed to be, but I'm about to get back on that train of uploading stuff. Maybe even doing more live streams. Don't know. Last time I did a live stream, I think I was like around 5,000 subscribers, and now I'm close to double that. So that's pretty crazy. I almost have 10,000 subscribers, and that's pretty awesome. I like that. Good to see you, Johnny. Yeah, so wow, I think my volume, my audio is a little bit too high. There we go. Maybe a little bit better. I don't think I'm gonna blow out your eardrums anymore. All right, so let me just talk about what's been going on. So as you guys might have seen, I was doing that whole hone my hustle thing. Um, and I like lost motivation for it, and I didn't end up like going through with it the way that I intended, but it kind of evolved into this Instagram type thing. So I'm still doing it. It's just like it's not what I thought it was gonna be. It's actually something that's more for me, and I have been having this craving, this fire in me that wants me to get back into code. So I'm gonna get back into giving you guys videos, putting stuff out. If you haven't noticed, I actually even put out a post yesterday asking like what kind of topics you guys want covered, and I was grateful because I got like 10 responses by the end of the day, and I was able to like come up with some topics. So I already know what I'm going to start covering. So just make sure that you guys are looking out on the on your subscription area, because I'm starting to post. I'm going to be posting stuff in like the community tab, probably asking about like what content you guys are interested. Maybe even holding polls on which topic you want to see next. If I do like if I was to do like one upload a week, which one do you want it to be? Do you want it to be like this thing, or do you want it to be that thing? So yeah. All right. So let's see. Sadan Shu. Sorry. As you probably already know, I'm terrible at uh, doing non-American names because Americans are just really bad at everything that's cultured. So yeah. So hey, Kilo, what's up? Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Lucas, hello, sir. You're the best. Thanks, man. I try to be, but I'm not really. um, let's see. Maybe you guys want to take a look at my screen. We could do a little bit of coding. You guys interested in doing a little bit of coding? I was thinking that we could probably do a little bit of something. Hey, don't look at that. That's the pop course. That's the pop course. Don't look at that. And this is where I just test out all kinds of random stuff. All right, so yeah, let's do some stuff. First of all, you guys got to be able to see whatever I put on the screen. And oh yeah, so mentioning don't look. um, before I answer your question, Victor, as I said, don't look. That was like the pop course. What I'm actually doing is I'm actually in the process of releasing a protocol-oriented programming course that's going to be available on both Udemy and on kiloloco.com. So right now, if you didn't know, I actually have my YouTube videos up on kiloloco.com, as well as a push notifications course that I recorded last year around this time, which covers like almost everything that you need to know about push notifications for iOS. So in that course, you can actually, help me out by subscribing for, I think it's like $8 a month, or you can subscribe for the entire year, which is $80 a month, or you could purchase the course itself, which I believe I said around like $50 or something like that. So I do plan on putting out more courses, and I feel that I could get out these courses a lot quicker than this one and the past one that I put out. It's just that I needed that motivation, and now I'm kind of getting that motivation and that fire to start coding back. And I really do plan on starting to put out more courses. They're going to be like probably, I think I'm going to keep them like a lot smaller courses, like little, you know, it might only be like 2 to 3 hours. This pop course is actually going to be a lot longer. I think it's going to be around like 6 hours or something like that, because I'm going over everything that you need to know about protocols. But yeah, I'm going to start putting out courses, and I've already seen like some of the suggestions that I received yesterday on the topics that you guys want covered. I already had like planned for like course topics. Like one of the things was React Swift or RX Swift, and the other thing was one thing that I'm thinking about doing is like a networking layer, like how to set up like a networking layer so that you're not just depending on, you know, just simply Alamo Fire. We're going to probably end up doing it all through URL sessions, and it's going to be consumable so that you can add multiple APIs without like making your project like just continue to grow with all this like boilerplate repeated code. So that's kind of on my mind on courses. But yeah, take a look at kiloloco.com. Could definitely use the support. Oh, also I'm planning on doing opening up mentoring again. So let me know if you guys are interested in mentoring. I'm still on the fence at this point, but I think I do want to do it because, like I said, I have this fire to like start teaching again. So yeah, mentoring. Victor says, hey there, good to see you back. By the way, are you a freelancer or have a full-time job? Well, technically I'm both, right? So so my situation is that I am employed full-time at a startup, but since it's a startup, they can't afford to pay me like, well, they can't afford to pay me what like a fully fledged company would. And at the same time, they also can't afford to give me benefits. So I'm technically a freelancer that just works for them full time. So that's my situation, and I've been there for like 3 years or something like that, close to 3 years. But yeah, I've been there for a while, and then I do things that revolve around teaching. I should probably be back over here on talking if I'm not going to show you guys anything on the screen, right? It's been a while since I did a live stream, so I just don't even know what to do. And I didn't even get my coffee, guys. I didn't even get my Starbucks. I used to get Starbucks every time that I did one of these live streams, or at least some coffee. Some coffee. I need some coffee. I mean, hey, whatever. But yeah, freelancer and full-time. Yeah, that's me, man. So I was doing freelancing, but I ain't doing freelancing no more. Just really did not enjoy it. I don't plan on working for anybody after this. This is the last job that I really ever plan to have. In regards to like working for somebody, I'm just tired of working for people. So honestly, what I would really want to do is just make all my money from doing like YouTube and my own courses. That's all I want. That's all I want, because I enjoy doing that stuff. And then I don't have to answer to anybody, and I can do things my way, and I can put out whatever I want. Right? Like that's the dream right there. What about the four forms of callback in Swift? I'm not really sure about 4 forms of callbacks. I kind of have an idea of what you might be talking about, and we could talk about callbacks right now. I'll go over callbacks right now after I get to the rest of these questions, Thorson, but not sure what the 4 different forms are. Like I use callback, like I use closures all the time, but I don't know what you mean by the 4 different forms of callbacks. Server-side Swift and building a maps like swipe up menu. The swipe up menu, I still haven't figured that out exactly yet. I've done it, but it's never been as smooth as Apple. So I'll definitely look into that. I'll keep that in mind for sure. Server-side Swift, I'm not sure if I still want to do server-side Swift, but you know, speaking of other applications for Swift, right? I've actually been thinking like, okay, well, what would happen if I really like took a deep dive into this YouTube channel and started giving you guys all kinds of content, right? Like, so I was thinking, well, what if I just covered all the platforms, right? Because I've done coding on all the platforms. I've done it on obviously iOS. I've done watchOS. I've done tvOS, Mac OS. I've done server-side Swift, and I've done it on a Raspberry Pi as well. I've done coding, yeah, so Linux. So and command line. I've done command line too. So I've done Swift on all the different platforms. And I was actually curious to see if that's something that you guys would be interested in exploring. Like, should I even consider doing, you know, all these other platforms like Mac OS, tvOS, watchOS, server-side Swift? Obviously, you want server-side Swift, but you know, I need to really find out. Like, that's probably going to be one of the polls one of these days. Like I said, make sure that you guys are watching for my post in your subscriptions area on the YouTube app, or go to my community tab on my YouTube page, because I will be posting like full what are they called, the polls. I'll be posting polls to find out some of this information from everybody. But yeah, I really am considering doing you know, multiple platform type stuff. So yeah, my man Kilo Loco. Oh yeah. Yes, getting rid of Alamo Fire is great. Yeah, I actually hate that people use Alamo Fire. It bothers me that that URL session is extremely easy. The only thing that's not easy is uploading and uploading like an image or like data. But I have to take a look back into that, because the last time I looked at it, it was at the beginning of this channel. It was literally one of my first videos. I show you how to do a multi-part form upload of an image, and that's the only thing that I see a benefit in Alamo Fire, because it's a pain in the butt. So I have to look at that again. I don't know if anything has changed since then in regards to doing uploads of files in URL session, but yeah, that's the only benefit that I see from Alamo Fire, and I hate that people use Alamo Fire so much, honestly. Third-party libraries are a liability. They sure are, especially when you're working on production level products. Do a course app, Kilo. Get the net gains, bro. Yeah. Do a course app. Not sure. Johnny, if you could explain to me what you mean by a course app, we could talk about that. Did you code using RxSwift? Actually, I don't code using RxSwift. I don't even know RxSwift, but I'll put out a course on it because I'll learn it. The only reason I haven't learned RxSwift is because I seriously do not see any benefit to reactive programming. Like, there's these use cases where it becomes beneficial, but nobody's going to run into those use cases. Like almost nobody will ever run into these use cases on a normal iOS app. So I seriously don't see the benefit in RxSwift. What I'm probably going to end up doing is reach out to, well, no, what I'll probably end up doing is I'll learn RxSwift or Reactive Swift. I'm not sure if it's going to be RxSwift, React Swift, or any of these other frameworks. It might even just be doing reactive programming with Swift, because you don't even need a framework to do it. Honestly, Reactive Swift is just KVO, which we do anyway. So honestly, I'm going to take another look at reactive programming by itself, take a look at all these different frameworks, learn them, and then if I don't see any real world usages, then I'll reach out to somebody that explains to me why they feel that it's, you know, necessary, and then I'll still put out the course regardless. But I seriously don't see the benefit. What about some tutorials about Fastlane? Check localized screenshot automation early today, and it's super easy. Um, I don't know too much about Fastlane. I've seen it a while back, and I kind of forgot really what it does. I know that it's there for screenshotting and getting stuff out in your app, and that's great. But like, once again, that's like something that I don't really see. I don't see too much of a benefit with doing something on Fastlane because, like you said, it's easy, right? So it's easy enough for you to kind of figure it out. And Fastlane, I know that it has some other applications. I think there's some other things that you could do with Fastlane, but from what I saw, I don't think it was really like it wasn't code from what I understood about it, but I might look into it. I'll consider doing Fastlane though, like solo learn app. Still having a hard time. Johnny's down for all platforms. Should junior to mid iOS developers know about um, continuous integration like Jarvis, Travis CI? Um, I mean, it really depends on what you're trying to do. Because I don't even know really about continuous integration. Honestly, like I know that I could learn it. I've looked at it, but once again, there wasn't a need for me to learn it. But I mean, just learn everything that you can. Honestly, just learn everything that you can. If you're even interested in it, look at it enough to understand it, and then hey, maybe try it out on a little project and be like, oh, okay, I get the gist of that. Just do enough to get the gist, and then move on. If you don't like it, if you do like it, then continue, because that's how you learn more about coding, because what you do is you learn this new thing that you don't know anything about, and then it exposes you to all kinds of other topics, and then from there you're able to essentially build up your knowledge and just become a better developer all around. And who knows, you might need CI sometime in the future, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I already know that. So yeah. Callback types, target action, helper, object, delegates, um, notification, and blocks. So I didn't know that those were considered callback types. So yeah, I mean, we could go over that right now, but yeah, because I definitely wouldn't do a video talking about all of these. These are all separate things. Yeah, so delegates and data sources, protocols. So what you're really talking about are targets, which are bridging to Objective-C. You're talking about protocols. Um, you're talking about KVO with notifications, and then you're talking about closures. So that's what's going on there. All right, and then at Lucas, what would purpose be? It's a tool, DevOps more than devs. Yeah. All right. So, um, all right. Well, Thorson said that he wanted to learn a little bit about callbacks. So, I actually have a video on callbacks. They're actually closures. Not I never seen a target be considered a callback, but whatever. I don't know everything, right? Anyway, I could really go for some coffee. I should have went to Starbucks, guys. Don't know what happened there. All right. Well, let's see. I use Fastlane to upload the app that I'm developing on Hockey app and test flight, and it's very useful because I have 5 targets in my app. Okay. Ooh, coordinator pattern, Thon. Oh man. Yes. Yes, coordinator pattern will be covered. I love the coordinator pattern. It's beautiful. Um, yeah, I will be covering coordinator pattern. That will probably be as one of the design patterns, because I posted a couple of videos on design patterns in the past, and that will probably be a design pattern. So callbacks, right? let's go ahead and put it so you guys can see my screen. Okay, callbacks. What you're referring to as a callback. So I'm gonna just drop this on the, well, you guys might want this file after I'm done. What the fuck is coordinator pattern? Coordinator pattern. So, Cheng, he said, what WTF is coordinator pattern? Coordinator pattern isn't like, it's not like it's not really like an architecture. It's just, it's a pattern that you use to essentially move between screens. So let's talk about like when you're first starting out and you're barely becoming an iOS developer, right? You're using like storyboards and you're using segues, and you know, you do perform segue with identifier, or maybe you just tap a button and it performs the segue, right? So what the coordinator pattern is it essentially makes it so that well, think of it like this: when you have VC1 segues to VC2, what happens is that VC1 knows that it goes to VC2, which isn't exactly ideal. Like you don't, like your view controller should not really know where it is in a flow at any given time. Um, it really is only there for just like, it's only there to put together your view and your models and then make it all come together, but it shouldn't know like where it is in your flow. Like it shouldn't know that it's the second screen or the main screen, or that it can go from this screen to the other screen. So what the coordinator pattern does is it is essentially, all it does is it takes out all the segues from your view controller, and it makes it so that this one class, this like this higher level class essentially is controlling the flow of your app. So when you say like let's say you're in a table view and you tap on a cell to go into the details, well, essentially what would happen is you would do the did select row at index path, right, for your table view, and from there you would actually call call a function, or yeah, you'd essentially call a function that your coordinator would then say, okay, this event happened. That means it's time to go to the details screen. So it's just lifting all the segues out of your view controller, all the navigation push to push this view controller or whatever. It's just pulling all that stuff out and putting it in its own class. But it can be like really complex, and it works really well with dependency injection, which is why I really love it. And yeah, so it's just something, it's something fun. But yeah, I will definitely cover coordinator pattern because it is like, when I learned it, it was like the best thing. I just enjoyed it so much. So yeah. All right, well, hey, I said we're gonna probably code some stuff up in here, so let's go ahead and code some stuff up in here. Oh, also, guys, I have I made like this. You know how you have like a DMG file, like you'll download something and it's a DMG file, and then you open it up and then it says like drag this into your applications, and now you have this app on your Mac. I made one for my my background. So for my theme, my Kilo Loco theme, I was wondering, like, do you guys even want that? Like, should I even put that out? I was just like playing around with it, and you know, I thought it was pretty cool that I could make it. So I have all this stuff set up in a DMG somewhere. I wonder if I could even find it. But yeah, all you do is like you would open it up and you would click and drag, and then my Kilo Loco theme would be in there. Watch. Oh, right here. The Kilo Xcode themes, right? You open it up, and then it has my 3 different themes, right? It has like the regular size, which is the one that I code with. It has the medium size, which is the one that I do for you guys so that you can see better. Like you see how, oh well, it's kind of hiding. I got all this stuff open. So this is like a lot bigger font than I would normally use. Usually it's down here on the regular Kilo logo. And then there's even the large one, like if you wanted to do presentations. But so this is something that I put together like a while ago, and I was just curious, like, do you guys even want this? Like, it looks kind of corny because I have like these really big fat arrows that I thought looked good. But yeah, as long as you have a custom theme already inside, like as long as you've already made one, then this will work, the dragging and dropping. But if not, then what you'll have to do is you'll actually have to you have to go to the folder and make it yourself. So I wanted to edit these instructions right here and all that other stuff, but yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you guys are interested in getting the Kilo logo theme. It looks really cool on the black background. Like right now, I'm not in my Mojave thing. What is it called? My Mojave partition. So as you can, well, yeah, right here. So I have a Mojave beta partition, and I'm not in there, so I don't have the black backgrounds. But I'm probably gonna download Xcode 10 pretty soon, so I'll be able to get the black backgrounds on this one, or I might even upgrade to Mojave. I don't know. But yeah, it looks beautiful on the Mojave background, which is really cool. All right, guys, let's code some stuff. So I don't even remember what I was supposed to be doing. Callbacks, closures, things like that. All right, well, let's see. So we're gonna just say that you had a function, get data, right? This is where you usually have your data request, and then you have your, we'll call it a callback, right? You have your callback, and then at escaping, and then return void, right? Something like that. Actually, it's not supposed to look like that. It's supposed to be in parentheses, like that. Right? Why does it look weird to me? Maybe because it's such a big font. No, that's right. Right. That's right. Does it need the parentheses? I don't know if it's just too early or what. Both of them look weird to me. All right, anyway. So this is essentially what you have when you have your callbacks, right? So when you would do get data, as you can see, you have your two options right here, and I'm actually gonna have to go soon because it's already almost 8:30. Well, it's only 8, but yeah. So you have your two options in your autocomplete, right? So you have get data, which if you choose this one, it's automatically gonna just give you the get data, the name of the function, and then it's gonna open up those curly braces because a closure, this is the signature of a closure. And essentially we're just gonna put some code in here, which means that wherever we call this callback at, that's where the code is gonna run. So we're gonna say print this is in the view did load, right? Now, if we wanted to do some stuff, we would say like print do something, then print did something, and then we could even do our like callback in the middle of those, right? So callback, if you take a look at it, it technically is like closures are functions, right? Functions without names. So a callback, you kind of just treat it like a function. So as you can see, this has a signature of taking in no arguments and returning void. So essentially, the equivalent function would be like this. So it'd be like callback, and it would look like this. So this is the same signature as this. Now it looks a little bit different because we have, you know, callback right next to it. But remember that you could actually add a space in between the name of your function and then the arguments if you want it. Looks super ugly, but you could do it. And also, One other thing is that whenever you're not returning anything, you're actually returning void by default. So whenever you have a function that's not returning anything, it really is returning something. It's returning void. But Swift is such a beautiful language that you don't need to put that there. So then it just looks like this. So anyway, if you wanted to call callback, this function right here, right? What you would do is you would just say callback. Well, that's exactly what we're going to be doing right here when we want to use our callback. So we would just do callback, just like that, because we're not expecting any arguments. That's the name of what this closure is, or this function is, and this is how we would call it. So when we run this, what we'll actually see is that we're going to run get data, and what it's going to do is it's going to run through this code. It's going to say, and actually we don't even need the add escaping right now. That's like if we're doing networking. But yeah, anyway, we're going to do print. We're going to print do something. Then we're going to call our callback, which is going to run all this code before it hits this code right here. Now, if there was some type of networking involved, some type of threading situation, then we would need the add escaping, and depending on that code, the callback may come back, or this statement may print after the did something. But since we're just doing straightforward, just line by line code, ain't got none of that. None of that. So let's go ahead and run that. And as you'll see, like I said, what it's going to do is it's going to run the get data. It's going to print out and do something. We're going to hit that callback, and then we're going to hit did something. So it's going to print out in that order. So do something, this is in the view did load, and then did something. So let's see it. Let's see it in action. Let's see some things happen. All right, let's see. And hey, guess what? I know what I'm doing, so yeah. All right. Another cool thing is that this print this is, oh, hold on, we gotta make it a string. Duh, Kyle. This is a function. So a really cool thing about closures is that, remember that this is just an argument. And remember, like, I'm going to go ahead and comment this out right here. Remember that the autocomplete was actually saying that we could do get data, and we could do it like this. Now, if we were to press enter, it's going to reformat itself, and then it's going to turn into like just the curly braces. But remember that this is just like any other argument. You have the name of your parameter that it's taking in, the argument, right? The name of the argument and the value that you're going to be setting for that. Now, if this was a string, you could pass in a string. If it was an integer, you could pass in an integer. Since it's a closure, you can pass in any closure or function that looks like this. And remember that I said that this callback function has the same signature as this callback. It's just not explicitly stated. So what we can actually do is we could pass the word callback, which is, we can say we can say self.callback or just callback, but we'll say self.callback so that there's no confusion on where this callback is coming from. It's this callback right here. And we can just pass it in like that, which is really amazing, because now you have a function that's taking in an argument that you're passing another function as that argument. You're passing a function in as that closure because the two signatures match, which this is like one of my favorite things to do. Once I found out about this, it completely changed the way that I started writing my code, and it's really an amazing thing. So as you can see, it's saying do something, this is a function, and then did something. Just like we did in that order. So that's just like a brief thing on callbacks. This is really what a callback is. Like I said, I never heard of targets being considered callbacks, or protocols like delegates and data sources being considered callbacks, or notifications being considered callbacks. I mean, I guess it makes sense because callback isn't even like a real, like, I don't think it's actually a real coding expression. It's like something that we all kind of made up as developers. That is like a blanket statement for something, but this is just closures. So this would be your blocks part, right? This would be the blocks that you're talking about. As for target actions, I mean, that's I don't really know what to say. I mean, you have to bridge Objective C and do some ugly looking stuff. I hate that. Helper objects, delegates, and data sources. Those are technically not necessarily objects because they're protocols, and the thing that conforms to them is an object, but they're not objects themselves. And then notifications. I mean, there's a lot of different ways, but this is just the closures part of callbacks, and this is what I usually hear callbacks being referred to. I guess you can call everything else callbacks too, but hey, whatever. Yeah. So let's just go back over to this screen. So that was interesting. I don't know. All right, guys. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, I think that's going to be probably it for today. It was good to be back on here. I need coffee though. I really do. Oh, I think I missed a couple of questions. Oh, okay. So, hi, what's going on, Kamal? Can't wait for SPM to turn real. Eh, I don't really care about that. Sorry, I don't. I mean, I don't. Hey, hey, good to see you, Kilo. Good to see you, man. What's going on? And for buddy build to be a matter of deploy. Buddy build. Buddy build, buddy build, buddy build. Why do I know that name? What is that? Buddy build. Buddy build. I'm really having a hard time placing that name. Hold on. Buddy build. That's gonna bother me? Ooh, buddy build. What is that, guys? Oh, continuous integration. Meh. Okay. Okay. What's going on, man? Shailesh. Sorry for the terrible pronunciation. Once again, just being the average American that can't pronounce foreigner names. What is common for callbacks is that the data in their parameters do not exist until later. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. I guess. I guess that's. I guess that is. I guess a real way to put it. But yeah. To talk about that, yeah. So essentially, you need callbacks essentially just to have code that executes at a time after the code has already executed. So essentially, you're calling code at a later time after the initial piece has ran, essentially, if that makes any sense at all. Any sense at all. Why am I feel like something's going on with my eyes or something like that. Okay, will most likely be a matter of build for device in Xcode eventually. Was bought by Apple. Oh yeah, that's why I know Buddy Build, because it was bought by Apple, and then people were some podcast was talking about it. I remember hearing that, and yeah, some podcast was talking about it. They were saying that they were having high hopes for it, but nothing really turned out from it, and they were hoping that it was like a test flight situation. They were hoping that it'd be something to evolve along the lines of test flight, like how it's not that it's going to replace test flight, but that it's going to be as official as test flight, how Apple uses test flight. So because test flight used to be its own thing from my memory, if my memory serves me correctly, and then it was bought by Apple, and then they integrated it into their actual system. Okay, since discovering callbacks, what have you found them most useful for? Um, well, so callbacks. Okay, so Thorson said that callbacks are something that allows your code to essentially, or allows you to work with data that's not readily available, right? So callbacks are useful for like your networking requests, or for just something that requires like the user interaction. So if you're, those are like the two main things that really come to mind that you're going to be using callbacks for. So like if you're waiting for a networking request, then that might take like 5 seconds or something like that, right? Like not now, not nowadays, but let's just say it takes like 5 seconds. Well, if there wasn't anything, so if there was no such thing as callbacks and asynchronous, you know, coding or asynchronous code, then essentially what would happen is your app would have to essentially freeze before all the data came back before it could continue. So that's what callbacks are useful for, is when you make that networking request, you're still able to, you know, move around the app, and then when that data comes in, you can finally populate the screen with that data. So callbacks are used all over, like once again, like how he said that targets. So anytime that you have a button, you have to think that's code that's going to be used, like you have an IB action, and then you have some type of function that does something like increment counter, right? Like, so the counter was 1, now it's 2. So now every time you hit that, it's going to be 2, 3, 4. So you're just going to increment, right? Well, every time you hit that button, you have to wait for that button to be pressed before that code runs. So that, I guess he's referring to that as technically being a callback. So yes, and then the same thing for notifications. Whenever you receive a notification, whether it's local or remote, essentially you're just waiting to run some code at that time when it's triggered to run that code, essentially, I guess. But yeah, Hawk, probably how develop Logic Swift. What Hoke develop? Not sure what that means, man. Not sure what this. I don't know what that means. Hoke develop Logic Swift. I don't get it. How? Yeah, how? How develop Logic Swift? I still don't get it. What's up, Kilo? Good to have you back. It's good to be back. Yeah. So, hey, got a good amount of comments today. I really didn't expect so many people to be up this early or late as you guys would be. I don't know. All right, guys. Well, I'll probably do this again some other time. I gotta get off. I have a call in about 15 minutes. Still don't have any coffee, and yeah. So once again, be on the lookout. Make sure, like obviously, I think you guys are subscribed, but if you're not subscribed, then subscribe. But be on the lookout inside of your mobile apps, your YouTube app, in the subscription tab. It will actually show you like if I do a post. So, like I said, I think I'm gonna start posting in there more often. Before, it used to be like I told you guys to reach out to me on Twitter and let's talk on there because that's the best place. But now YouTube's trying to do this whole I'm a social media platform too, blah blah blah. But yeah, I mean, I have YouTube is where I have the most followers, right? So like on Instagram and Twitter. Uh, on Instagram and Twitter, like I have a good amount of followers, but I don't have all the followers. So YouTube is where I have all my followers, and that's where I can I'm just going to reach out to you guys directly through there. So just be on the lookout for that. Could you do an abstraction guide, kind of the hows and whys of the process that led you to the approach that you use in the realm video, or in any scenario where you make a Objective-C framework more swifty? I don't know, man, because you gotta think those realm videos are super long. Like, I explain everything that I'm doing in them. You really just gotta sit through it. Like, that's why my videos were so long. I'm gonna be cutting the videos down. I'll definitely look into it, but I don't know about doing a whole video. That's like too meta. That's too meta. A video on meta? A video on a video. Programming logic. Yeah, still don't know. All right, go get your damn coffee. All right, man. I guess it's time to go get my damn coffee. Later, guys. I will see y'all later.